everyone, my name is Noarin Alisha binti Sapanani. So I will start my presentation with introduction. Our lesson focus on simple past tense for Form 1 student age 13 with a duration of 60 minutes. Student may struggle with regular and irregular verbs such as play, played, and go, when. Using Ghana 9 event instruction, our goal is to help students recognize and use the simple past tense correctly through engaging activity. Next, I will explain the instructional designer for our lesson. We use Ghana 9 event of instruction as the main framework. It helps us organize the lesson step by step, starting with gaining student attention and activating their priority knowledge. The lesson then continue with teaching the topic guide and practice, feedback, and assessment. Students will also have the opportunity to apply what they have learned. Our topic is a simple past tense for grade 1 student, age 13 years old, and the lesson also takes 60 minutes. Students already have a basic grammar knowledge, but they may have difficulty using regular and irregular verb correctly. Therefore, we include explanation, practice group activity, feedback, and individual assessment to help students understand and use the simple past tense. For this presentation, I will explain the lesson plan structure. The subject for this lesson is English language, and the topic is simple past tense. The lesson includes the education objective and target learns. The duration of the lesson is 16 minutes. For the teaching material, we will use PowerPoint, picture, and verb cards. Lastly, the assessment method are quiz, group activity, and worksheet. That is a lesson plan structure for this lesson. For my last presentation is 2.2 learning objective. The objectives are based on revised Bloom taxonomy by Anderson and Catwood. Students will progress from remembering and understanding to apply, analyzing, evaluate, and creating. By the end of the 60-minute lesson, students should be able to use the simple past tense correctly and create their own sentence. This measurable objective help the teacher assess whether the learning outcome have been achieved. So that's all for me. Thank you.
Hi, my name is Paveswari Selvaraj. So I'm going to explain about Gains 9 event, the instruction used on our simple past tense lesson. So first we gain student attention by using pictures and questions. Second, we explain the learning objective. Third, we recall students' previous knowledge about verbs. Fourth, we present the new topic including regular and irregular verbs. Then we provide learning guidance through example and explanation. Then students practice using verb activity. After that, the teacher provides feedback by correcting and improving students' answer. The assessment through worksheet and activities. Finally, students transfer their knowledge by using simple past tense in their own sentence. Here is the 60 minutes lesson flow. During the first 10 minutes, teacher gains students' attention by explain the objective and recall their previous knowledge. From 10 to 20 minutes, the teacher present the simple past tense and explain the regular and irregular verbs. During the 20 to 30 minutes, learning guidance is provided to give some example and guiding students. From 30 to 40 minutes, students participate in a group work activity. From 40 to 50 minutes, students complete their worksheet while teacher observe and provide some feedback. Finally, 50 to 60 minutes, students complete a short writing starts to apply simple past tense independently. So the 60-minute workflow gives students opportunity to learn, practice and receive feedback, apply their knowledge. Here is the teaching and 5 learning stages. So the first stage is introduction and recall. where students answer questions and use pictures to connect with their previous knowledge. And the second stage is presentation of new knowledge, which is the teacher introduced the simple past tense and regular and irregular verbs. So next is guided practice, where the teachers provide some example and guide students at their practice. The fourth stage is collaborative learning, which is students work together through the verb card activity. And the last stage is assessment and independent application, which is students complete their worksheet and receive some feedback from teachers. Finally, write their own simple past tense sentence. Here is the five stages where students can recalling knowledge to learning and practicing collaborative and finally applying what they learn. So that's all from me. Thank you.
Hello, my name is Nordrina Badrusha binti Muhammad Yusri. Okay, for this section, I will explain about the learning objectives, activities, and assessments used in our simple past tense lesson. Okay, first of all, the students will learn to identify the past tense verbs through teacher explanation and questioning. The teacher will introduce the examples of past tense verbs and the students need to answer the oral questions to check their understanding of this lesson. Okay, secondly, the students will identify regular and irregular verbs through a verb card activity. The students will work in groups to classify the verbs while the teacher assesses their understanding through group participation and group activity. Third, the students need to learn to build simple past tense sentences through a sentence building activity. The students will arrange the words correctly to form the meaningful sentences, while the teacher observes and guides them. Lastly, the students will use the past tense correctly through individual practice, including a worksheet and a short writing task. This allows the teacher to assess their individual understanding. Overall, these activities help the students gradually understanding and apply the simple past tense correctly. For this section, I will explain about the teachers and students' role. First, for gaining attention, the teacher shows a pictures of activities that happened yesterday and ask the questions to the students, while the students need to observe the pictures and give some responses. Second, for informing the objectives, the teachers need to explain the lesson goals while the students listen and understand what they are expected to learn for this lesson. Third, for stimulating recall, the teacher asks the students to recall familiar verbs such as play, eat, go, and study. The students need to recall their previous knowledge and provide some examples. Next, during presenting the content, the teacher explains regular and irregular past tense verbs and give some examples. Students need to listen, observe, and take notes. Okay, for learning guidance, the teacher need to guide the students in changing present verbs into past verbs and provides corrections. Students follow the example and answer the guided question given by the teacher. For eliciting performance, the teacher conducts a group work card activity and monitors the group. Students need to work collaboratively and match the present verbs with their past tense forms. For providing the feedback, the teacher need to check the students' answer, correct the mistakes, and give the explanations. The students also need to listen to the feedback and correct their answers perfectly. For assessing performance, the teacher need to give an individual worksheet and a short writing task. The students need to complete the worksheet and write their own sentences. And lastly, for retention and transfer, the teacher need to ask the students to share the sentences about what they did yesterday, and the students need to apply the simple past tense to their own experiences. Overall, both the teacher and students have active roles throughout the lessons to helping the students to understand, practice, and apply the simple past tense.
Hi, my name is Fatin and I will presenting about theoretical analysis and behaviorist theory. As shown on this slide, our lesson plan is grounded in educational theory to help Form 1 student transition smoothly from recognizing verbs to writing complete simple past tense sentences under behaviorist theory. Learning happens through habit formation and stimulus response conditioning. Firstly, for stimulus response, flashcard with base verb like go, act as stimulus to trigger past form like when. Secondly, drill and practice matching games help build speed and accuracy for regular and irregular verbs. Lastly, positive reinforcement through immediate teachers' praise and corrections reinforce correct grammar habits on the spot. And we're moving on to section 4.2 focuses on cognitive theory, which emphasizes internal mental processing and active thinking. On this slide, we highlight three main elements. Firstly, for schema building, students organize verbs rules using regular and irregular classification charts. Secondly, scaffolding connect new past tense rules with their existing knowledge of the simple present tense. Third, metacognition is applied to spot the error, tasks where students analyze bad grammar, like correcting he go to he went instead of passively memorizing. In summary, the behaviorist approach builds fast recall speed, while the cognitive approach depends through understanding for long-term retention.
My name is Nurul Izzati Azra and I'll be talking about the humanistic theory. Humanistic theory focuses on the student-centered learning where students are encouraged to actively participate in the learning process. It emphasizes motivation, confidence, participation and also personal development. So in our simple past tense lesson, this theory is applied through activities such as group sentence building, peer checking, oral response and also individual writing activities. For example, during the group sentence building activity, students work together to construct sentences using the simple past tense. This allowed them to share ideas and communicate with their classmates instead of only listening to the teacher. Teacher feedback also important because students may feel nervous about making mistake when speaking in English. Constructive feedback helps students correct their mistake while maintaining their confidence. Now we can see how the three learning theories are interrogated throughout our lesson. First, the behaviorist theories, which is focuses on repeated practice, reinforcement, and feedback. In our lesson, students repeatedly practice past tense verbs through activities such as verb cards, worksheet, and also guided writing. Second, the cognitive theory, which is focuses on how students understand and process the information. Students connect their previous knowledge of verbs and the present tense with the new concept of the simple past tense. They also analyze and correct sentences. Finally, humanistic theories, which is focuses on motivation, participation, and confidence and also collaboration. Students participate in group activities, share ideas, communicate with their classmates, and complete individual writing tasks. Therefore, these three complement one another. Behaviorist theory helps students develop grammatical accuracy, cognitive helps them understand and process the grammar, while humanistic theory encourages motivation, participation, and also confidence. To conclude, our lesson plans show how Gagne's 9 events of instruction can provide a structured and meaningful learning experience for Form 1 students. Bloom's taxonomy helps students progress from basic understanding to applying their knowledge, while constructive alignment connects the learning objective, activities, and assessment. Finally, the integration of behaviorist, cognitive, and humanistic theories supports students' accuracy, understanding, confidence, and also participation. Overall, this lesson helps students not only understand the simple past tense but also apply it in meaningful situations. That concludes our presentation. Thank you.